Welcome to Basic Life Saving. You're not just saving the individual, you are saving the whole family that's around that individual as well. CPR essentially is preserving their life until appropriate medics can get there and provide more sophisticated equipment if necessary. So preserving life is what we're going to be looking at today. Hearing is the last sense that we lose when we go into unconsciousness. Yeah? So talking to that individual, right, if they are still semi-conscious, you should get some form of response out of them. Can you hear me? No response. Simple as that. So how do we check the airway? Head tilt and chin lift. So, hand on the forehead, hand under the chin, and we raise the head like so. That will open the airway. Okay, so from that position there, we know that airway is open. Given a choice, 112 is the number you should use. They use satellite tracking on all calls. Okay. If you're on your own, put your phone into speaker mode, right? Because the ambulance operator will talk you through the process. They will talk you through the primary survey, this danger response, airway breathing, and the last one is circulation. Mind you, if this guy's spewed up everywhere, right, or they've got a massive facial trauma, you might think, Jesus Christ, I'm not putting my mouth near that. Yeah? As first aiders, those of us trained in first aid, we are obliged to do it by the Resuscitation Council. As a layperson coming in to assist, you don't necessarily have to do that. You can do what's called compression-only CPR. There, you're not counting, you're just compressing the chest at between 100 and 120 beats per minute. That's at maximum, that's 2 beats a second. Okay? Yeah. Can you phone the emergency services for me, please, on 112? Can you tell them I've got an unconscious, non-breathing casualty and I'm about to commence CPR? Once you've done that, can you come back to me? Okay? So, let's start. So the heel of my hand goes in between the 2 nipples on the chest, right in the centre. My second hand interlocks over the top. Some people find this very difficult to do. If you want to put your hand that way, as long as you can get the compressions, I'm happy with that. So in this position, I bring myself over the top of the body, and I'm not going to bend my arms. I'm going to keep them straight, and I'm going to use my body weight to do the compressions. Otherwise, you'll be knackered very quickly. So let's start. I'm just going to go through, do the complete cycle. Okay, so we have a casualty. The first thing we need to think about is it safe to treat that person. Okay, is there anything else there that could injure me? So I'm going to calm myself down. So I'm going to go danger, response, airway, breathing, and circulation. Okay. What do we do with a lady who's got those very large protuberances at the front? The bra's got to be cut off. Yeah? And the reason it's got to be cut off is if you're going to put a defibrillator on that person, right? As soon as you shock that person, the wires in the bra will cause significant burning around the body. so the bra has to come off. Right? If you're performing CPR, it must be done on the floor. Right? You see in hospitals people do it on beds. They are specially designed beds. They're very, very hard, and you can do it. For the rest of us though, we must have the casualty on the floor to perform effective CPR. At the end of the day, every minute that you delay putting the defibrillator on means that person loses a 10% chance of surviving. Okay? So ear over to the mouth, you're feeling for warm air.
See if there's anybody around to help.
It is the most important thing, right? I can't stress it. It's all very well doing all this lot, right? If the emergency services don't know you've got a problem, right? If they arrive 15 minutes later, the person's brown bread anyway. Good compressions, good rate. Okay, I'm going to finish off with some variations on what we've done so far with children. Okay, so in first aid terms, we identify an infant or baby as anyone up to the age of 1, and a child as anyone up to the age of 10, depending on the size of the child. Okay. We're not going to go 5 to 6 centimetres on the child because we'll end up coming through the back. Okay? So realistically, what we're looking at is the only change you've got is a third of the body depth. That is what you're going to do your compressions to. Okay, it's a statistical fact that any child is more likely to suffer from a respiratory problem than they are from a heart problem. Okay? So just by virtue of giving those 5 rescue breaths can actually revive a lot of children without having to perform full CPR. So that's why we give the 5 rescue breaths first. But as most of you will appreciate, a baby's face is very tiny. You are not going to be able to seal your mouth on the baby's mouth. So we perform the seal over the nose and the mouth. Okay? Just hope the child isn't snotty. So, okay, so that's working. So over the nose and the mouth of the child. The way we actually give CPR to a baby, we perform the sandwich position. Right? 2 fingers at the back supporting the child's head. Okay? And 2 finger thrusts into the centre between the nipples and your ear. Happy? Easy. Okay, and then it's 30 to 2 breaths. Okay. If the baby's choking, it's virtually the same procedure, but we would start out with the baby in this position using 2 fingers, 5 back blows in between the shoulder blades. If that doesn't work, we turn the baby over, and that's when we perform our chest thrusts.
Very informative actually. You know, it provided essential training.
I really enjoyed it. It was really interesting to see the different ways that CPR can be performed. So yeah, it was definitely very insightful, and I'm glad that I joined.
Good. It seemed more thorough than the ones I've done before. I did first aid courses before for work, and they seemed to brush over a lot of things that today covered pretty well, and it gave a lot of chance to ask questions as well, which is good.
I found it very helpful. I'm glad I came, as I have a 3-year-old daughter who's had a heart operation, so I feel they will help me.
Well, apart from knowing the people who like run it does actually help, and it's taught in a way that it's not too hard to get, you know what I mean? There's a practical side to it as well that you can get a little bit hands-on and also personal experience coming from, you know, the tutors.
I was definitely surprised about how the defib works. I'd not been over that prior to this, so that was really interesting to learn as well. Definitely when we touched as well about the fact that they can still seem like the breathing, but it can be seizure related and things like that, because that was something that I was unaware of. So that was really interesting to like pick up on, because I would have thought, oh, they're absolutely fine, wait till ambulance got there, and I would have stopped CPR at that point. So that was really interesting to know that that can still happen and you still do need to keep performing it. Definitely as well about the toddler and infant CPR as well, just to know the ways in which the defib would be placed, because I would have assumed it was still on the chest, but to know that you do one pad on the front and one pad on the back to limit the amount of space, that was interesting as well. Yeah, definitely.
I think it's quite good that they used footage from shows that show things that you wouldn't normally see in just the basic CGI stuff, like the trauma breathing. I've never seen that before, and that's kind of something that would be quite important if you missed that in an emergency situation. So it's good that they covered that.
I learned how to give CPR to adults and children, which I was more focused on personally. The one thing that surprised me was the defibrillator machine. I didn't realise it instructed you as well as potentially save lives. So that was nice to learn. And that you dial 112 instead of 999, which I wasn't aware of at all.
Definitely, I recommended it to work. I'm going to see if we can get like snippets and things of the videos that have been done today to see if I can put that within work as well, but 100% I think it's very useful to know.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I think even somebody who's done first aid courses before, this is more thorough than that. So it's definitely worth doing, even if you've done one for work or done one through school or something like that. It's definitely worth doing something like this where covering things in a bit more detail.
I would recommend it to anyone that has children, or just family in general, as like this has said, it doesn't just save their life, it saves families' lives.